I managed to grind my way up to 99% yesterday. We already got someone in the numbers. Someone on the outside looking in. We'll see what we can do against them. This hand's great. We are on the draw. Alright, so we're up against what looks like Gruul. We probably want to lead with Gutter Ball here? Nah, probably Knight. Because our next turn wants to be... it really does want to be Skyclave Shade. Maybe that was a reason to Thoughtseize them. To take away this play. That's pretty rough. I feel like this matchup is probably pretty tough in Game 1, but we have tools to do better in Games 2 and 3. So we can either play Skyclave Shade, which can't block, or we can play Thoughtseize and nothing else, because our mana's awkward. So I think we're playing Skyclave Shade here, which may allow us to get in for Spectacle next turn, which lets us cast Spawn of Mayhem on the cheap. Opponent is just going off. Scavenging is annoying against us too. So we'll attack because the Shade can't block anyway. They let it through. Now, the question is, do we play the Spawn of Mayhem here, or do we try to Thoughtseize away an Embercleave? It's tough. Let's see. What happens if we Thoughtseize and we take away their Embercleave and then we just play Skyclave Shade? We're taking 2, 5, 7, 9, 10 at a minimum. And then they'll just play Bonecrusher Giant. I think their board is just too good. I think we have to play the Spawn. If they play Embercleave, we lose, of course. But I don't think Thoughtseize is good enough to win, even if it hits an Embercleave. Alright, got a good one for you. Control on control nonsense. Turn 3, opponent plays Gideon, which gets lapsed. Opponent plays Pact of Negation? Okay, yeah. So, to avoid... Yeah, okay. And then you get rid of Gideon. Yeah, that makes sense. That feels pretty good. That's a risky play from the opponent. If I was them, I probably would not have done that. Alright, so opponent attacks with Voltaic Brawler without... Well, they do have Embercleave available. I'm just going to say no blocks. They didn't use the House Up Oasis. Interesting. So they have company again, it looks like. So we have cheap spawn enabled. It's too late to Thoughtseize away their company. So I think we're just attacking out and then playing a second spawn. Just try to get them dead before they can kill us. We're taking 2, 7, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, and then we're dead to our own spawn, so we actually can't do that. We need a blocker back, so let's attack with the Skyclave Shade. We're dead to a lot here. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, there's nothing for it here but to cast spawn. They have Coco. They're gonna cast it, and we're gonna die. That's interesting sequencing. Those aren't little creatures. Those are quite big. So this is an attack for 4, 12, 15. And it's effectively 17 because our spawns are going to ding us. So Man, and none of our stuff can block next turn because it all comes into play tapped. So we're kind of damned if we do, damned if we don't. I think we want our spawns to die, don't we? How many creatures in the bin? Enough, so they can just eat the spawn with the scavenging ooze, so it has to be like this. I'm down to 4, and I don't think we have a prayer. I don't think there are any outs. Yeah, too little too late. Okay. Like I said, I think game 1 is hard. We're teched for the Jeskai matchup. But against this guy, we can take out all of our discard spells, which weren't very good. I still think it was right not to Thoughtseize early. Maybe. Like, Thoughtseize could have taken away the Burning Tree Emissary, which did get them somewhere on the board, and it could have taken away the Cocoa. Maybe that is better, because I value just being able to get the Spawn of Mayhem cost for Spectacle, but it didn't really hold them back that much, did it? So maybe casting Thoughtseize was right. But in any case, it's bad in the matchup. We'll take 2 Legion's End, 2 Fatal Pushes, and 3 Doomblades. Okay. Can't keep that. Okay. So we can keep this. What do we put back? I think it's Murderous Rider. It's not going to hold anything back, right? We already have 2 decent kill spells. How's everything going for me? Busy. Like, I've been at work all day, I was in traffic, and then I drove down to IKEA, and then drove back up here, and I hopped right on stream. So it's been a day, it's been a week, really. But I get to sleep in tomorrow. It's hard to put, like, it's hard to put a 3 toughness lifelinker back. But rest of our hand is honestly decent. Opponent's got a decision. We lead on Gutterbones. Nice. So, they have Burning Tree Emissary. Holding up Doomblade for that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't think we're worried about anything. Let's just get on the board. Yep. Okay, well. Legion's End's pretty nice here. And they have a Gruul Spellbreaker in hand. That's fine. We're winning this race. Yeah. Just imagine the roller coaster of emotions the opponent had there, like the triple Burning Tree Emissary hand, like practically the nuts, and then and then Legion's End. All right, I don't think there's any changes on the draw. The dinosaur tempts me, but Martin User says not to bring it in, so we listen to Martin. I still think this is fine. We just hope not to flood out here. Yeah, so I think Reggie is probably not ideal. Because all of our removal is 1-for-1, and the Regisaur just discards our whole hand. And so the question is, does a 7/6 creature really take over the board against Gruul? And against, like, Mono Green, maybe it does. But against an Embercleave deck, no, not really. Anyway. We can Legion's End here, or we can play Gutter Bones. What does next turn look like? We play Gutter Bones instead. I don't think they'll make this trade. So here we can play Gutter Bones, which will make it more likely that we can get in for Spectacle and get the Spawn of Mayhem down. A little late. Let's see if they let the Gutter Bones through. They do. So now I think we just get the Spawn down. And we hope to fight through their Cocos with Heartless Act and Legion's End. Yeah, so there's Coco, which we knew. We could have gotten around it by killing the Llanowar Elves, but... Okay, Clothis is a bit of an issue. Wasn't a bad hit. Oh, wow. So they'll exert the Crasher, right? They don't. Interesting. No blocks. Alright. So... what do we Legion's End? Probably the Voltaic Brawler. It's just the biggest threat that we can hit with Legion's End, and it's also the only one of these cards that they could conceivably have in their hand. We get to look and see if it's an Embercleave. It's a Bone Crusher Giant. I see. So Heartless Act is going to let us turn off Clothis, and Crop Crasher can exert to make sure we can't block anyway with the Spawn. So I think I'm happy getting in, right? So this is going to be 3, 5, 6. We're taking at most 9 next turn. Hey, okay. Good to see those Kirby's. I'm gonna attack. They take it. And we'll ult up Heartless Act. Here we go. I guess we take damage from the Clothis. Sure. Okay. Okay, so... 3, 7, 9, 10. There's no reason to wait on this. Alright, okay. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. Now, can we push the extra damage? We get in for 5 in the air. Or 1 short. We're one short. They block Gutterbones. They block Faceless Haven. We get in for 7. But if we wait, then Colossus just sort of eats us alive. So maybe we're supposed to hold back and use Faceless Haven and Gutterbones to block. Or maybe we're supposed to just try to stay alive next turn and get in next turn? Maybe. I don't think we can attack. If we attack, it's suicide. But they're going to play Bone Crusher Giants and actually turn on Colossus too. I think we lose. I think we need to at the least hold up the Faceless Haven activation. And our own Spawn of Mayhem is likely to kill us. But I think this is the only line that doesn't just lose on the spot. Yeah, that'll kill us. We'll die to our own spawn next turn. That sucks. Sucks starting the stream off with a loss, but what are you gonna do? But I guess that guy was. So, Luris. So we're up against auras here. Rankle can be surprisingly good against them, by forcing them to sacrifice their big creature. We would love to have some sort of hand disruption to discard their Aura Lord. But I think this is a little too good to mulligan. Like, we're not just mulliganing for Thoughtseize here. Okay. Yeah, we're just getting Skyclave Shade into play. Skyclave Shade, excellent sacrifice fodder for Rankle. That's an excellent draw. That is an excellent draw. So you're dead. We attack. So they just played it naked on turn 2, which means they like certainly have another one. Vanguard's fine. Vanguard doesn't draw them cards. Alright, so unfortunately we need to play our castle pre-combat to get Rankle down, but there's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Yeah. Rankle's an incredibly hard card for them to deal with. Okay, so... Auras. Martin, what have you got for me? 2 copies of Legion's End, 3 copies of Doomblade, 2 copies of Fatal Push. Sure. Out come the Shades. Out comes a Spawn, and out come 2 Dread Wanderers. Sure. Yeah, makes sense. We don't really want the Duresses. The only thing that we want to discard from them is their creatures. Drunk and Dirty. It's just, that's a hell of a name. Just imagine taking Drunk and Dirty home to your parents. Oh, it's so good to meet you. I've heard so much about you, Drunk and Dirty. What are you doing with my daughter tonight? I mean, we know what they're doing, right? We have to wait. Yeah, this is pretty sweet. We have no pressure whatsoever, but we just keep killing their stuff until they've got nothing left. This is fine. Okay. Well. well, that dodges all of our removal. But I think we get to work killing it. They'll pay. But they can only pay so many times. So Saram's gonna die. They're gonna cast an aura, they're gonna get their card, it's gonna be annoying. We have to kill Saram. We would love a land. So we're taking 4 return, but if we just keep removing their Vanguard, then they're also just taking 4 return. Plus the 2 from our Gutter Ball. Are we playing the Knight? I don't think so. I think we need to just keep having removal spells up. Just not letting them ever get more than 1 card off their Spirit Dancer or Saram. And if they don't play Spirit Dancer or Saram, then we Doomblade the Vanguard. Hopefully they keep doing it pre-combat like they did last time. That would be nice. Because then we don't have to make a decision about whether to do that during our combat step. By Luris. Yeah, they don't do that pre-combat, because now I know I can do this with impunity. Doomblade and Heartless Act are essentially the same. There might be some way for them to get a counter. We'd love a land here. Don't find it. So opponent might play Luris with the idea of getting some lifelink. We can kill Luris and then aim a kill spell with the Vanguard. Yeah, so they'll get to play their Saram, which is irritating. At least they won't get to draw off it right away. We're going to Heartless Act the Luris. They're probably going to attack us. So let's attack with Gutter Ball. See if they're willing to trade Saram for it. Okay, they're not. So now they can't pay to... They can't pay to protect the Vanguard. So normally you would want to kill the Saram before they untap so they don't get to draw cards, but I don't think them drawing cards is super relevant at this point. I think we just want to hope they only have 2 creatures on board next turn, kill one of them on their turn, kill one of them on ours, and try to get through for the last few points with Gutter Ball. And hopefully they target the Vanguard with their auras because they can't defend it. Cartouche is irritating. I don't want them to get that 1/1. So let's kill it in response. They unsummon the Vanguard. Okay. That's an interesting choice. Sentinel's Eyes on Saram. Okay. I'm not sure how we get through at this point. Interesting. So, if we Murderous Rider, we take 2. So we can't attack with Gutterball because they'll just attack us back with Vanguard. So I think the play here is Doomblade the Saram. Hope they don't have a protection spell. And attack with Gutterball? Or do we just try to draw Rankle for the win next turn? Rankle is lethal. Unless they can make the Vanguard fly. Yeah, I don't think we attack. I don't want to leave myself dead to removal. See? Now we are dead to Baffling End, 2 auras. That would do it. That's incredibly annoying, but they're still dead to a land. Actually, can we will we force a draw? No. So he's vigilant and also lethal, so we have to block. Swamp off the top. Swamp off the top. Swamp off the top. Oh, yeah. Unless you have Unsummon. Is Unsummon your last card? If it's Unsummon, you're the superior Magic player. Nice. Okay. Alright. Cool. Yeah. There's a curve. 1, 2, 3. Opponent's on the play, which makes it unlikely that we're actually going to get through. Okay, so it is Jeskai. It's what we're going for. I think we just get the shade down. It's going to be really difficult to play around a Wrath of God, and they kept on top knowing what we have. Like, knowing what we are, so I think a Wrath is actually fairly likely. Realistically, can we play around it? Hopefully we draw something like Faceless Haven. Okay. So, I think they have a Wrath. If they do, are they forced to use it next turn on this no matter what? It could also just be Lightning Helix that they kept. I'm gonna play the Spawn. Can't play around everything. If they have a Wrath, it's gonna be really difficult for us to win, even if we hold back. So, if it's just Lightning Helix, then playing Spawn is right. We can beat a Lightning Helix. I don't think we could beat a Wrath. That's kind of what I'm saying. The tanking is probably good. If they had Wrath, they would probably just cast it here, no? Okay. I'm digging for like Lightning Helix. They find it. Okay. So we're attacking for 4, 7, 9, and then Spawn by itself. is just a lethal threat, and we can Murderous Rider the Narset. Yeah. And if they do find Wrath, then we can bring back Skyclave Shade the following turn at least. Skyclave Shade plus Knight. Or just even a kick Shade might be okay. So they have Lightning Helix. So they will be able to kill one of these and go up to 4, but the spawn will be a significant pain in their ass. They played Narset. They didn't have a Wrath. They found Lightning Helix. Do we play around a Wrath? Is there a... If they play Lightning Helix, if they have 2 Lightning Helixes, that's probably the best case scenario for them, right? 2 Lightning Helixes, kills a Shade and a Gutter Bones and puts them up to 7 and it's not lethal anymore? Okay. We'll play the Knight. Yeah, cool. So they didn't have 2 Lightning Helixes. Or maybe they did, and the island just didn't allow them to cast it. But either way, good game. Alright, so against them we bring out 2 Heartless Acts, and we bring in 2 Duresses, and that's it. We don't need to sideboard too much here. We did see Mizzix Mastery from them. So it might make some sense to take out the last Heartless Act and bring in a Soul Guide Lantern. Do we want multiples? If we bring in multiples, what are we taking out? I think everything else is just a little too good to take out. I think I'm fine with just the 1 Lantern. Yeah, so Evil Empire, if you're still here, how did the end of your season go? Are you trying for top 1200, or are you just sitting back and watching the world burn? And it's not nearly as good as the last one. Realistically, is this hand doing anything at all before turn 4? Like, we're going to play Dread Wanderer, it's going to get Lightning Helix, we're never going to get in for Spectacle. Let's see if we can find a hand hate spell. There we go. We'll keep this and put back one of the swamps. Then we'll cast Duress and get the lay of the land. There's no creature we're worried about, so we'll lead on Duress. Portable Hole's really good against us. Commit is okay. Memory Lapse is kind of whatever. Yeah, it's Portable Hole. Yeah, so we can... Ooh, Inquisition, huh? So we can Inquisition plus Thoughtseize. That's an option. Or we can just Skyclave Shade. Skyclave Shade trades with a Memory Lapse, which is all Thoughtseize is likely to do anyway. It's possible that last card in their hand is like Anger of the Gods and we'll be sad if we play Skyclave Shade. But I think I want to get the pressure down now. We'll save the discard for next turn when we're not doing anything. And, you know, if they lapse the Shade, then that's great. We got rid of it anyway. The other thing about having the hand hate spells lapsed is that it sucks because we don't want to keep drawing them. right? If they get closer and closer to empty-handed, the hand-hate spells get worse and worse. Alright, so we redraw the Skyclave Shade, of course. This could miss. They played the Steam Vents tapped, so they didn't have a play that they wanted to make for 3 mana or less. It's possible they have a Helix that they're holding up here. Let's see. They've got nothing. So it could be a counterspell. I'm going to cast the Inquisition because it's not getting any better. Yeah, nothing. Alright, so let's cast the Skyclave Shade. Sure. Wow. Nice draw. So next turn they threaten to Fairy. Alright, I'm gonna Thoughtseize away to Fairy. I'm gonna play the Shade. And they'll probably commit it next turn. But if they do that, then we get to play Rankle. Man, these have been some good draws. Like, imagine how good Inquisition would be here. Okay. Well, let's attack. I guess we have to play Soul Guide Lantern here. And we're taking Memory Lapse, because it's the only thing that Gearhulk can target. We can sack the Lantern to try to draw something good. Like make our land drop this turn or something. Or a creature. I don't think we're that worried about his Kanta flipping. If we get that late in the game, then God help us. So let's just draw the card here. We could draw a 1-drop spell. Okay, or a land drop, that's fine too. It kept on top. Okay, yeah, that's a good one to keep on top. Okay. Get in there. Oh, I shouldn't have played the land. Okay, that doesn't matter. But if they killed the Skyclave Shade, I would have been able to recast it if I held the land in hand. They know we're drawing Rankle next turn. They'll probably just hold up commit for it. Do we make them do it? If we allow them to commit the Rankle, then that will be the 6th card, and then they can bin whatever on top with his Kanta. And then they'll be able to cast Gearhulk the following turn, and flashback commit. Realistically, are we really not attacking with Rankle here? Alright, I guess not. Let's see if we draw a 1-drop. Oh. You gonna commit the 1-drop? Oh Jesus. Well, that's the ballgame. So if we'd held onto the Soul Guide Lantern, this wouldn't be over. But now they can Torrential Gearhulk at their leisure, flashback, Magma Opus, kill our board. It's over. So maybe we should have held the Soul Guide Lantern. Maybe that was a mistake cracking it. At the same time, like, if we hit any 1-drop with that Soul Guide Lantern, then our pressure would have been much more than just a single Skyclave Shade the rest of the game. So if we'd attacked with Rankle there, they wouldn't have had the mana to cast, commit, and make the treasure with the Magma Opus. Unless they did both, but then they have to use the treasure. We'd still basically be dead to a land off the top. So I don't think what we did that turn really mattered. I think the only decision that really mattered that game was whether to crack the Soul Guide Lantern or not. That's a tough one. I think it was probably a mistake what I did. It's just a little too optimistic. But it's not as obvious as it seems in retrospect. Keep. Faceless Haven is practically a 3-drop, so we are like 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're really, really hoping they don't have Anger of the Gods. Okay, no red mana for Lightning Helix lets us pump the Knight if we want. They don't have red for Anger of the Gods either, so we can probably cool it on Inquisition for now. And we can maybe do that next turn, although if we do Inquisition now, it clears the way for Rankle the following turn. But I think I just want to get him dead. I guess that could make the red for Anger of the Gods. So this red is tapped, so it is possible they have it. Or some Wrath effect. Like Deafening Clarion or something. If it's Wrath of God, then Inquisition does nothing. Second Rankle, does that make us... If we play, what if we play Rankle here? 3, 6, 8. Actually, if we just attack and pump the Knight, if they don't have any interaction for it, then Rankle is lethal the following turn, right? So let's do that. Let's do that. So we do this now in case they have like Lightning Helix and force them to point it at the Knight so we can pump in response rather than attacking first. We're gonna lapse the Inquisition, that's fine. And I don't know how they get out of this. They're dead to the Faceless Haven, they're dead to the Rankle. Knight is now above Anger of the Gods and Deafening Clarion. Teferi doesn't do it. Yeah, you're dead. Good game. Alright, we've made it to numbers again. I got to numbers last night, and then decayed overnight to 99%. Alright. Never really know which of these to lead on. I think it's Gutterball. Because Gutterball we can recur more easily than Dread Wanderer, at least in the early game. But truth be told, it probably makes no difference. Given the choice of which one we want them to exile, if they have like a Magma thing, Magma Blast, something, I think we'd rather them exile the Gutterball. Alright, so we're sending our Skyclave Shade out to die, which isn't so bad. If they kill it, then we can replay it and Dread Wanderer next turn. Or we can play Spawn. It's another Jeskai deck. This time we had the bright idea of being on the play, which makes things significantly easier. Now, that feels like a Lightning Helix, right? Okay. So, I think that makes our decision easy. We just play the Spawn. Dodges Helix, dodges Clarion if they're a madman who's running that in the main deck. Yeah, sure, this is fine. Something was going to get lapsed. Yeah, that's pretty good. So, most of these decks are not running Anger of the Gods in the main. We're gonna have a hard time fighting through that, I think. But if we draw like Faceless Haven or something, all is not lost. Okay. I was gonna say, we haven't seen much of Thoughtseize, have we? Can we realistically play Thoughtseize here? Because if we do, we can't do anything else with our turn. I think we attack. They know we have the spawn, which is what makes this suck. But it could be like a Lightning Helix, right? So if we pump the Knight here, it's a disaster. So which are they more likely to have? The second Memory Lapse or a Lightning Helix? It's Lightning Helix, right? So we just go to damage. And we'll play the spawn. And it'll get Memory Lapse or something. It's possible they have both of those cards and there's just nothing we can do. But I think Thoughtseize, yeah, Memory Lapse, okay. But Thoughtseize is just not good enough. So if they play Teferi here, let's see what they do. Do they minus or do they plus? They plus, okay.
Keep up the pace.
I mean, if they have Lapse, Lightning Helix, then I tip my cap to you, sir. First things first, we'll try to Murderous Rider the Teferi. And if they counter this, then it'll inform our attacks, which is why we do it pre-combat. Alright, so it's probably Lightning Helix then. Yeah. I think Thoughtseize would have been a mistake though. Like, if this was their hand, Thoughtseize was not going to help. Like, Thoughtseize would trade with the Memory Lapse and we wouldn't have been able to make any progress for a turn. So it's almost no different than casting the Spawn of Mayhem into a Memory Lapse. Hell of a card Memory Lapse is. Alright, so there's commit for the Wombo combo. You have another kill spell? On your upkeep. Okay. There's no choice. We have to cast Spawn here. While they don't have commit up. Like, if we don't even want to Thoughtseize the commit, right? Because they'll have, because then they'll be able to cast Memory with Narset in play. Which is a disaster for us. That sucks. I think we're just dead, unfortunately. Thoughtseize isn't really going to help either when they get to go 4 deep with Narset next turn. I'm just going to scoop this. Maybe that's a little early, but we are trying to rank up as quickly as possible and not squeeze like every last bit of equity out of these games. In a tournament, I'd probably play on for another few turns. Anyway, this player did not show us any graveyard interaction. So this could just be standard, alright, normal Jeskai control. So I'm less interested in Soul Guide Lantern until they show me something else. But it could be wrong, right? Like, they could just have not drawn the Opus or Mastery or Gear Hulk. Actually, I should have cast the Thoughtseize there, because it's possible they had it in their hand, and I would have liked to see it. Need to draw 1-drop. But this hand just has a few too many good things going for it, doesn't it? Alright. Oh, Christ. So as annoying as these two cards are, I think the two cards I want to take are Iteration and Lapse. Because everything else is 1-for-1 removal. But this is card advantage, and this is like excellent tempo. Let's take the Iteration. Better ball. Alright, we'll start with Thoughtseize. Oh my god. Wow, I don't know how we fight through this, frankly. Their hand is very, very good. They are only on 2 lands. That's probably how we get through this. So let's take Baffling End. Because at least we want to be able to recur Gutter Ball. Maybe it's supposed to be Lightning Helix there because we have the Faceless Haven in hand. But I think it's likely they'll use the Lightning Helix on the Gutter Ball anyway. Alright. Let's attack, see if they kill Gutter Ball. They don't. So whatever if we play the Spawn of Mayhem, it's going to get lapsed, but we don't have another use for the mana anyway. I suppose they could let Spawn resolve and use the Justice Strike there. I don't think there's a choice. Of course, they drew the land like a champion too, right? Okay, so they did Memory Lapse. So I think we attack first and play Spawn. I don't want to lose the Faceless Haven to the Lightning Helix, and I don't want to cast Rankle into Lightning Helix either. And we can cast Spawn for 4, even if they kill Gutterball. They're thinking about it. I'm supposed to play the land pre-combat there, I guess. In case they make a mistake and kill the Gutterbones, I can pump up the Faceless Haven. But even in that case, I think I would play the Spawn. They're tempted, right? Like, they don't know that we have the 4th land in hand. They think that if they kill Gutterball, then maybe they strand the Spawn in our hand. But they correctly let it through. We might as well cast it for Spectacle. And presumably Spawn's getting Justice Stricken here. Sure. So they have Commit available, they have Lightning Helix available. There's really no way to win here, I don't think. The play they want to make is Commit, because it uses their mana most efficiently. The difference between Faceless Haven and Rankle is small. Let's pump the Faceless Haven. Oh, shit. Oops. I should have played the Swamp. Gotten so used to hiding that information from the opponent, now they don't have to do anything. And now they can kill the Faceless Haven if they want. Ugh, that's brutal. That's terrible. Okay. Well, we're casting Rankle, and if you commit it, then you commit it. But we'll draw it again. So these are non-lands. Well, okay. These are non-lands. We can draw the Rankle with Castle, but we can't play it at the same time, so we might as well see if they'll let us recur Gutterbones here. Yep. They say go. Alright. So there's no Torrential Gearhulk, it's not Teferi. We've seen only one Lightning Helix. Lightning Helix is probably the single most likely spell. But we're playing Rankle here. If he gets Memory Lapse, he gets Memory Lapse. We'll play the Gutterbones now so we can use the discard a card mode on Rankle. Wow, okay. Man, if I hadn't made that punt with the Faceless Haven, we might... Like, that's this 4 damage is, like, exactly the difference. Yeah. Like, on the one hand, it's nice that they're missing land. On the other, it's It means that all of this is gas. They also have the castle waiting for us. I guess we're supposed to use the castle first. Because now if they have Lightning Helix... Oh boy. Literally every single thing kills the Dread Wanderer. I guess we take the Prismari command. Because it makes the treasure token. And it's an instant. This one's not looking good for Team Airball, though. So they can cast Anger to kill this one thing next turn, and it won't be able to come back. But Rankle off the top is lethal, if we find it. Okay.
I know what must be done.
What do? You probably minus, right? Mm-hmm.
I'm not ready for you quite yet.
I mean... Now we lose. Yeah, I'm gonna scoop this one. And move on. So losing to 92%... Oh, man. We're back below where we started. I could play Jeskai Control myself. But the game... But, like, I would run into so many mirrors. And the games would take so long. Oh, no. We're up against an 89%er, which means, like, if we win, we don't move. And if we lose, we drop drastically. Okay, so let's not lose. Breeding pool. You don't see that one much anymore. Is it Bat? It looks like Bat Snow, I guess. Let's not play our land, in case they kill the Skyclave Shades somehow, although I can't imagine how. Yeah, let's just go. Three, 5, 7, 12. We're threatening 12 damage next turn. Actually, we're threatening lethal with Rankle if they don't have any interaction. Yeah. Okay. So... It's probably Bat? Probably? So I think the sideboarding is the same as against Jeskai. Yeah. Reggie might be better on the play. We'll see. Depends how much interaction they have. Like if they're Bant, then they don't run that much. But I can't be completely sure. They just played 3 lands and died. So. Alright, well, now we're gonna get to find out. Holy Holy crap. Okay, so Gargaroth is a significant problem for us. We're going to have to get rid of that. Quandrix Command is also a problem. Scavenging is also a problem for our Shades, but they don't have a real way... They don't really kill our stuff. So Scavenging Ooze is an interesting one in their deck. I think it's the command. All of Blossoms. That's an annoying one. So now our Skyclave Shade is bricked. So what to do? Playing Skyclave Shade doesn't really accomplish all that much. It does if we ever want to power up the Faceless Haven. This Duress has a shelf life, right? Like, all of these are creatures. We don't want to Duress this turn. We'd rather wait until they draw Nissa or something, right? So I think we play the Shade. They're missing land. Okay. Will you let the Shade through? No. Okay. So let's start with Thoughtseize, because that'll tell us whether or not they have a non-creature in hand to discard. They have memory. Oh, do they ever? They have Memory Lapse and they have Eugene. Well, Eugene doesn't look like he's ever getting cast, right? The thing is, them memory lapse... Well, if they're memory lapsing our Duress, that's not so bad either, right? So we want to leave these two things in their hand, is what I'm getting at. To maximize our Duress. I'm gonna take the Gargaroth. And... sure. Lapse it if you dare. Wow. Okay. I feel like you're not supposed to give me that choice. I feel like you're supposed to force me to take Memory Lapse. But it's what I'm doing anyway. Because I really want to be able to cast Spawn next turn. Are we attacking with Faceless Haven? No. We're playing Spawn. You drew. Nice. So, if we activate Faceless Haven and attack, if they trade the Scoos... then we can't cast the Spawn. I think we just attack with the Spawn. Get the second Spawn down, and try to just beat them before they... yeah, try to just beat them before they can cast Ugin. Did they draw the third Memory Lapse? No. Yeah. Okay. So we won't move up at all. Yeah. Like that, this match was all risk, no reward. Despite having a winning record, we're already below where we started today, so... Oh no, we're not. We're at 99 somehow now. Yorion. What plays Yorion? Oh, this is probably Abzan. I think Abzan is a disastrous matchup for us. But at least we have Shade to try to mitigate some of that. Well, mulligans to 5. We might have a chance. Oh, there's also the Enigmatic Incarnation list that runs Yorion, which is a better matchup for us than Abzan. Hollowed Fountain. Well, now I don't know. That's a lot of land. We could play the castle, because next turn we might draw Faceless Haven and play it. So Skyclave Shade, of course, not at its best against a deck that's all exile-based removal. They might be Esper. They are Esper. Okay. So the question is, do we play around, like, Wrath of God? I don't think so. I think we just want to threaten lethal. Knowing that we can replay the Shade next turn, if nothing else. Yeah, okay. Do we kick it? Or do we play the Knight? I think we play the Knight. Force them to have yet another Wrath, and even if they do, we have more land to replay the Shade. Do you have Settle the Wreckage? We can't play around Settle the Wreckage. Okay, this is fine. I thought about Heartless Acting, but we didn't have lethal. So now I'm just gonna play the Shade out. And if they have some random, like, Charming Prince or something, now we have the Heartless Act to beat that. Oh, Teferi. Teferi, I assume, minuses? Okay. Jeez. Let's see what we draw. Punished. Ah, punished. Okay. Like, if I shouldn't have played my land first. I just wanted to take one less damage, but obviously that's not relevant in this matchup. Wow, we gotta kill Teferi here.
How long do you want to wait for rematch?
If they target my Skyclave Shade with some removal, I might actually want to just cast Heartless Act to try to get lower, so I can recur the Dread Wanderer, like lower on cards in hand. I think I like that. So this is a lot. They can't buy and play Yorion next turn. They essentially need a Wrath. But even a Wrath by itself isn't enough. They need a Wrath and instant speed removal for our Faceless Haven. And even in that case, we get to bring back the Shade and the Dread Wanderer. Yeah, Narset isn't gonna do it.
If you wish to select now, put thoughtfulness before action.
Oath of Kaya. Oath of Kaya, go. So are we looking at Settle the Wreckage? It's not Lightning Helix. I don't want to activate the Faceless Haven. They could have double removal spell, I suppose, and then we would want to activate the Haven. That's probably more likely than Settle, right? No one plays Settle. Damn it. Yeah. What a disaster. Probably should have Murderous Rided the Narset as well. Because now they... yeah. Okay. If they have no removal, that's lethal. Oh, they flew too close to the sun, eh? Like, they could have just cast Oath of Kaya. Wow. Got away with one there, I'm pretty sure. So this... is this just like Esper Control, or is this like Demonic Pact kind of thing? Regisaur, of course, is terrible here. I don't think anything else is any good. Okay. It said it was funny because no one plays. Yeah, I mean, that's what I said, right? However, I'm an idiot. Like, I thought it was so much more likely that they had a hand of, like, eliminate, than one Settle the Wreckage. Anyway, we're keeping this. Thoughtseize. Okay. Duress. Hand is awkward now. The Faceless Haven is punishing us. Let's see what they do. Their deck is probably like Mono Wrath, and like a deck that plays Settle the Wreckage probably plays Cry of the Carnarium. So I'm not thrilled with playing a Dread Wanderer straight into that. Let's lead with Duress. Omen, Oath, Teferi, Yorion. So they're gonna kill... if we let them keep Omen, then our Gutterbones doesn't get through next turn. If we let them keep Oath of Kaya, then they're gonna kill the Gutterbones, so that doesn't get through next turn. So this is awkward. I guess Oath of Kaya sucks for them to have on the battlefield if they ever do resolve the Teferi. Let's take the Oath. No one plays Cry? Yeah, famous last words. Okay. Okay. Well, let's see if for some reason surpassing my understanding, they let the Gutterbones through. Like, we could have Thoughtseized the Omen, but honestly I think that's nuts with how powerful their deck is. And Gutterbones recurs. Okay. Okay. Well, we can Heartless sack that 1/1 to keep Gutterbones around. It's that or Thoughtseize. Not really worried about their turn 4 play. I guess their turn 4 play could be like Demonic Pact. So I think we have to Thoughtseize here. And we'll just play the Dread Wanderer. Yorion or Teferi, which one would I rather they have? I think we have a reasonable chance of killing, just like straight up killing Teferi. So I'll take the Yorion. Buy Yorion, okay. So next turn they play Teferi minus on our spawn. Then we can kill Teferi with the Faceless Haven. I don't know, this feels rough. Let's see if they block. Yeah. Wow, just play the Orion, huh? That's interesting. So we can play second spawn plus Knight. Their next turn is going to be Teferi minus on the spawn, and then we can't kill the Teferi. Okay. I'm going to play second spawn and Knight and say go. Okay. Can replay Gutterbones? That doesn't seem great. Now they can Teferi minus. Wow. Okay. You have a Wrath? Eliminate. Okay, well that doesn't hit the spawns. So attacking Narset lets them draw off the Oath of Kaya. Or not draw off the Oath of Kaya. Drain off the Oath of Kaya. Their next turn is Teferi, right? So if we attack face, they go to 6. We attack Narset, they go to 8. Then on our turn, like they'll minus on the spawn. They'll go to 7, then 3. And they'll need to dig up an answer with Teferi. One of their best hits is Yorion, right? And Narset won't find Yorion. I'm going face. Alright. So they get to go pretty deep. They get to go 7 deep, looking for a Wrath. They bottomed. Nice. Okay, 1364. Oh, it is hot. My office gets so hot this time of night. It is 30 degrees Celsius right now. And we can't keep this. Better. So opponent also mulled, which makes our discard spell better. We'll keep this. And I think we want to just... So Murderous Rider is like an adventure spell. It represents card advantage. So like strategically it might make sense to keep it. But... like, the only way it matters is if it's removing a creature. And if the opponent is running a deck where their creatures outclass us anyway, removing one of them is not going to make a difference. So I think it's the Murderous Rider that goes back. So, like, it'll be turn 1 Gutterbones, turn 2 Inquisition plus Knight, turn 3 we'll make a decision. Blood Crypt. Does Blood Crypt change anything? Like, Blood Crypt, they could have Arcanist on 2. Ugh. Blood Crypt could mean claim the Firstborn. If it's Jund, then Trail of Crumbs would be incredibly obnoxious. I think we Inquisition on 1. Oh, this isn't so bad. They don't have any kill spells, right? So they can Thought Erasure one of our threats, but we still get to be on the board. Cling is irritating, but if they're exiling our creatures, they're not drawing cards off of it. Let's just take the Narset. They can Thought Erasure one of our threats. But, you know. Our game plan is to trade these discard spells 1 for 1. We don't really mind this. They probably take Knight, I would guess. But maybe they want to put one of these recursive creatures in the graveyard so they can cling it. So some random Grixis pile. Wonder how this matchup is. I would think good. Yeah, they took the Knight. And now we also hope they don't have, like, Extinction Event or Cry of the Carnarium. Okay. I think we can play around the Wrath, or, like, I think we can just play Gutterbones, getting around, like, Extinction Event or something. However, playing both of these creatures does get a 2-turn clock, which is relevant, but it's not really a two-turn clock because they can cling a creature. So let's just play the Gutterbones and try to keep the Dread Wanderer. Or do we just force them to draw perfectly? They kept on top with the Thought Erasure. Let's play around a Wrath. Okay, they're drawing. Okay, they're drawing. It's fine. That's an excellent draw. So we're threatening lethal. Opponent does not have enough cards in the bin to cling to dust. I'm activating the Faceless Haven. Okay. Now, if you have Extinction Event, okay. Maybe they did. They just didn't have the land for it. Okay. Again, I think it's exactly the same sideboard plan as before. They did show us Cling, so maybe Soul Guide Lantern is a consideration. It seems better than Heartless Act, but Heartless Act probably kills Nicol Bolas the Ravager, which they're probably playing if they're just playing some random Grixis file. So I think I like keeping one. It does outclass Rankle, and it trades with Spawn, and it's a 2-for-1, which this deck hates. So let's just do this again. It's another matchup where Ragesaur is terrible. Okay. So they might Thoughtseize our Thoughtseize. No. Blood Crypt tap means we can probably play Thoughtseize at our leisure, right? Let's get the Dread Wanderer down. Put some pressure on him. Shocks in. Thought Erasure. Okay. Again, this is the game plan. We're fine making these trades. They take Thoughtseize. So I think, what's the best anti-Wrath play here? I think it's Night Go. Because next turn we can just pump the Knight. So the only question here is whether we play Dread Wanderer, and that does, like, run straight into a Cry of the Carnarium, and they did top with the Thought Erasure, right? Oh, no, they didn't. They binned the Nikki B. So they probably have a Nikki B in hand, then. Okay, let's play the Dread Wanderer, then. Alright. This is fine. And now, even if they have a Wrath, we have some hope that the Faceless Haven can go coast to coast. They're not dead. If we power up the Faceless Haven and attack, and they block the Faceless Haven, then they're not dead. So, let's attack out. See how they block. I want to save the Faceless Haven for next turn. We can recur the Dread Wanderer instead. But I think the only thing that really saves him here is a Wrath. So let's just get the damage in this way. They're down to 1. Grixis probably can't gain life. Yeah, okay. That does it. Let's Thoughtseize. Okay. So are we willing to trade Faceless Haven for Nicol Bolas? I think we are, because that will eventually flip. And we don't have any removal left. We have 1 Heartless Act, which would win the game if we drew it. We have 2 Murderous Riders, which would win the game if we drew it. Okay. So let's say go. They can't flip him yet. So now, even Heartless Act doesn't do it, because we don't have the land to attack with the Faceless Haven and Heartless Act. Yeah. I think we've lost. Like, now we have to attack with the Faceless Haven, or they threaten to flip Nicol Bolas. We attack Face, so they're forced to trade, but now they have the Planeswalker in play, and we essentially lose. And they have another one anyway. Okay. So the Shadow's Verdict was like the only draw that did it for them. The killing everything and exiling everything was incredibly effective. But I still think this is fine. Yeah, that was pretty rude. I felt pretty good there. Yeah, we'll keep this. Rankle's pretty good. Let's lead with Inquisition. They have Extinction Event ×2 and Commit. But nothing yet. So I think we're just gonna get the Knight in. We're gonna attack as hard as we can until they Extinction Event the board, and we're gonna try to finish him with Rankle. Could even Rankle this turn. Adds 1 damage. It makes Extinction Event bad. They can't commit it. Is one of these two things a removal spell? So this is 2, 5, 7. They're down to 5. If we play Rankle, doing the extra point of damage with Rankle lets them draw the card. Let's just attack. Hold up Murderous Rider or something. Alright, well now we're just pushing the damage. If you have the kill spell, you have the kill spell. No reason to play the Gutter Ball, right? Like, next turn is Extinction Event. No doubt. Yeah. I had the Shark for 1. Okay, so that blocks Rankle. That's irritating. Alright, now do you attack with the 1/1? No, but that's a pretty good draw. Okay. So let's... What do we do here? Knowing they have an Extinction Event, knowing they have a commit. We can Murderous Rider the 1/1 play Gutter Bones. That doesn't seem great. I think we play Rankle and Gutter Bones, because they're different mana costs. Do we play the Gutter Bones pre-combat? I guess we do. So if they Extinction Event this board, taking Rankle, then we can attack with Gutter Bones and Faceless Haven for lethal. They would need to have, like, exactly Fatal Push. Commit doesn't really seem to do it either. Um... Yeah, so we power up Faceless Haven here, right? And then they need they need 2 removal spells here. Yeah, cool. Alright, into the top 1200. We also need to start playing against higher ranked opponents. Like, 92% is the danger zone, right? If we beat them, then we gain almost nothing. If we lose, then we probably drop back down to like 99% here. And we're hoping they play creatures, I suppose. Ether Heaven. Alrighty then. They don't... Well, I guess they do play creatures, but... Oh. Oh, it's like, it's Ugin Ramp. Oh boy. I thought it was, energy. Oh boy. Alright. Have a land, I suppose. They're unlikely to have, like, mass removal. I'm just gonna go face. I'm gonna ignore Karn. And get the spawn down. They're splashing black for mass removal. You think they have, like, Extinction Event? I think if they have Extinction Event, then we just sort of lose. And we also have the Faceless Haven as backup. Alright, don't wrath me, bro. Obviously, these 2 Heartless Acts really sting. We would much prefer if they were Thoughtseizes or Duress. I haven't seen this deck in a while. Okay, that was weird. Like, Forsaken Monument here would be a bit of a beating. Alright.
You may regret that choice.
If I give them Karn... What do they fetch with Karn? Lots of stuff, right? You can have the Hedron Archive. I think we just go face and play double Skyclave here, right? What's the alternative? We can go Faceless Haven, hit them for 8, they're down to 6. But then we never get these Skyclave Shades down. Hold on to your butts. If they're forced to make a Karn Struck next turn, we can Heartless Act it, and that will be lethal, if they have nothing else. If they block with the Guardian Idol, again, we have the Heartless Act. Which will also be lethal. If it's like Forsaken Monument here. They're doing Hedron Archive math, which is terrible news for us. They have an answer, and they're just trying to see if they can also play the Archive. Hopefully the answer is no, but if they have an answer to our board, then I think we're just out. Wow. What greed. What greed. They played Ugin and they didn't kill the spawn, and you're dead. Alright. So here, I think we want Reggie. I don't think they have mass removal for Reggie. Or instant speed removal for Reggie. We do want the Duresses. I think we cut the Heartless Acts. Rankle is nice as, like, an anti-board wipe thing. Murderous Rider, I think, is important as an answer to Karn, or is it? Like, do we really care? None of their Planeswalkers really affect the board too much, and taking 3 mana at any point in the game to deal with them is probably a losing proposition. I think I'm okay cutting the Murderous Riders. And I mean, the Shades are not at their best in this matchup, but we also just kind of need to get on the board and kill them. I think it's one. We shave one Rankle, and we shave one Spawn. So Rankle is best against like sorcery speed removal, which is like all they're likely to have. Spawn of Mayhem hits harder. I think hitting harder is the most important thing. I cut a Rankle. So if we draw any of our discard effects and discard their turn 2 mana rock, the game is completely different. So we badly want that. We have to mulligan this anyway. Nice. So I think because that mana rock is just so important to them, I think I am going to Inquisition on 1. And I'll pitch... Do I pitch Faceless Haven? Do I pitch this land? Do I pitch... Oh, man, this is actually tough. I don't want to pitch Faceless Haven. Because I don't want to pitch Faceless Haven, I don't want to pitch any land, because if I pitch one of these, then I'm going to end up constrained on my black mana. Like, Faceless Haven doesn't cast a single card in this hand right now. So I want to keep the Inquisition. If we're going to 6, Dread Wanderer is better than Gutterbones. So I think it's Gutterbones that we put back. Wow, we whiff. So they have Shadow's Verdict, which is awful for us. And they have Forsaken Monument, and they have Extinction Event. So this is not going to be easy. How do we play around these Wraths? Like, I think we have to cast Night this turn, because it allows us to get in for a good chunk of damage next turn without losing everything. The question is, do we also play a Dread Wanderer on top of it? It will die to the same Extinction Event, but it will also push 2 more damage before it does. Faceless Haven is going to be our answer to the second Wrath. I think we play 1 Dread Wanderer and hold the other. Spawn of Mayhem, actually. So, the only answer to Spawn of Mayhem in their hand is the Extinction Event, and for them to cast it, they need to cast it on even, which means the rest of our shit lives. Okay, I think that changes the plan. So, like, Extinction Event on even is almost forced here. Unless they have, like, you know, some sorcery... some Doomblade effect. Although, of course, Doomblade itself not great against us. Yeah, so they have to name even there. Shadow's Verdict cometh. So I don't want to play this Dread Wanderer. And absent that, the thing that does the most damage is attacking with the Faceless Haven. Okay. Okay. So, Skyclave Shade makes me more inclined to play the Dread Wanderer this turn. And also Faceless Haven and play the Skyclave Shade. Are they really going to Shadow's Verdict a single Skyclave Shade? If they are, they're probably also going to do the Wanderer, right? All of their removal seems to be exile-based, so I'm not sure the decision matters that much. We're doing 6 to them. We're doing 4 to them this turn, they'll be down to 6. Either one of these is a lethal threat next turn. Let's play the Dread Wanderer. I mean, this is tough. Which one is going to be easier to recur? They're both lethal threats. If they're both lethal threats, Dread Wanderer is going to be slightly easier to bring back than a Shade. Right? They play Forsaken Monument, next turn they're dead. So they're not going to gain life in the immediate future. Okay. We'll play the Shade because this will be easier to recur. Got him. Nice. So we probably won't gain very much at all for beating someone at 92%. Okay, we're up to 800. So we actually did gain, like, 200 ranks there. That's not bad. So we've lost 1 rank in the time I've been talking about this. So, at that rate, we probably don't make it. Okay, I'm gonna play another match. I think if I win this match, then I'll stop. And if I lose, then I can just keep playing. Like, my results with this deck have been good enough that I think I'll be able to fight my way back in if I lose. Cromulent. Alright, so this is a real grudge match. Like, this Clash of the Titans. This guy's right on the edge. Oh boy. This is tough. I want to keep it. If we draw 1 more land in our first 2, then this hand is great. I'm gonna keep. Okay, so we didn't draw the land. Yeah, they have Lightning Helix. We'll just force it out of them here. Okay. So they have Gearhulk. That will probably be our Thoughtseize target. We do want untapped land here. Can't find it. Now I'm gonna get the Knight down, though. Still can't find it. Um... They could have, like, memory lapse. With Thoughtseize here. Justice Strike doesn't hit, doesn't hit Knight, however, they drew the second Gearhulk, which is a tilt. So I think we're gonna lose this game 1. Like, the keep was questionable, but it's not that bad. So they're gonna play their Gearhulk, they're gonna flash back their Lightning Helix, kill the Knight. And we can then, if we draw our land, we can Murderous Rider it. If we don't, we can Heartless Act it and keep getting in. This is not the end of the world. Let's attack first. Yeah, I want the Skyclave Shade in play. And if they cast their Justice Strike on it, then whatever. If we draw the land, we can bring it back next turn anyway. Maybe it is supposed to be the Inquisition to force them to... Alright. So we need to force them to play the Gearhulk. And we need to have Heartless Act available for when they do. So they'll Helix the Knight, and then it'll be a top deck war, and unfortunately it's one where their top decks are better than ours. Wow, okay. I'm sure they flashed it in on end step, right? We have the lunatic option of Heartless acting our own Knight to deny them the life gain, but and hope we draw the land for the Murderous Rider next turn, but that seems a little too crazy for me. Did you draw another one? Let's find out, I guess. No. Okay, do I get to cast my spawn? They didn't play a tap land, they have something. It's... Nothing's holding priority, so it's probably a counterspell of some variety, but our hand is too full to do anything but cast Spawn of Mayhem here. They had nothing? You had nothing, and you didn't play a tap land. Okay. I attack you. So they drew something there. You have a Wrath? Like, they had an answer to the Murderous Rider, but now they want a Wrath? What did you have? What could you possibly have had? Okay. Sure. So we won that game somehow, which is insane. They showed us the Torrential Gearhulk, so we'll bring in the Lantern to cut the 3 Heartless Acts. Did we see any, like, actual interaction? We saw Justice Strike. So Justice Strike makes me not want to bring in the Regisaur. Because if they kill it, if we cast it and they just kill it on our turn after we've discarded, it's such a disaster for us. Let's just say go. I can't believe we won that, like, after whiffing on our second land for, like, 3 or 4 turns. But Skyclave Shade's a pretty good Magic card. Alright. We get two kicks at the can here to try to put them away. I'm keeping this. Opponent mulligans, which is nice. We have Thoughtseize. So we can Thoughtseize to try to hit like a Lightning Helix. But I think I'm okay playing Dread Wanderer Thoughtseize Knight next turn. And if they Lightning Helix my Dread Wanderer in response, I'm not too sad, because I still get to Thoughtseize something else after they mulled to 6. Okay. Nice job on game 1, thank you. Did you see it? Like, the only reason I asked is because you're a little delayed. Like, it was a remarkable game of Magic. So we start with a Thoughtseize here, which to inform whether or not we want to play the Knight or the Thoughtseize. You have a Shark Typhoon and you have an Opt. Your Opt doesn't really scare me. I take your Shark Typhoon. Oh, you're still playing at the same time as you're watching me? Wow, I find it hard enough to play and talk at the same time. Like, playing and listening to someone else talk about a different game of Magic just seems so hard. Recorded that game. Okay, so that'll go up on your YouTube. Opponent topped. Do you think they topped an Opt? Maybe they did. So we have to be wary of a Wrath effect, right? So I think the correct play here is Swamp, attack, not pump. We're trying to play around Lightning Helix to the best of our ability here. Thoughtseize, yeah. First party command, okay. And so Skyclave Shade both pushes the most damage and plays best around a Wrath. Playing Double Knight plays around like a single targeted removal spell, like Lightning Helix. But not that well, right? It just adds one more point of damage. Let's play the Shade. So they can draw off the, yeah, they can draw off the Relic if they want. And they may have to do that, and they probably should do it now, because they need a Wrath in, like, the worst way. Okay. So we'll hold our land for the turn in case they kill our Shade. Now, do we pump, or do we cast the... or do we cast both Knights? Let's do the math. If we pump, we do 3, 7, 9. They're down to 6. And then if we play both Knights, then... or then we play one Knight. They can make a token with the castle. They can block one of the Knights, but we still get to pump the other one next turn. I'm pumping. And I will play one night to play around the Castle Ardenvale token. Because if they make a token, block the knight, then we're only attacking for 5. So this represents a lethal threat through the token. Opt is not going to do it, bud. So they need exactly Wrath of God. I suppose they gotta have, like, Anger as well. Anger of the Gods is brutal. Got him. Alright. What's the damage? Okay. I think 357 is gonna be okay. I think we're gonna be fine. Thank you. I'm really liking this Mono-Black deck. I think this Mono-Black deck is really, really well positioned right now. I'm very pleased with my decision to use this deck. Like, everyone is playing Jeskai. Everyone is playing Jeskai. And having 4 removal spells is just so good at dodging Wrath effects. Spawn of Mayhem is so good at dodging Lightning Helix and Deafening Clarion and stuff like that. Faceless Haven is so good against Wraths right now. And Rankle is... we didn't get to see it today, but Rankle is unbelievably good against Auras. I think if you're trying to rank up Evil Empire, then yeah, you should absolutely use this deck in Historic right now. Maybe make some tweaks. I don't think I like having 2 Soul Guide Lanterns in the sideboard, for instance. Like, I was playing against, you know, Jeskai with Torrential Gearhulk and all of that crap, and I never wanted to bring in the second one. Ever. I suppose if you run into, like, Rakdos Arcanist or something, then having the second Soul Guide Lantern might be good, but I haven't seen anyone play that today, or in the last couple of days. The last time I saw Rakdos Arcanist was like 3 or 4 days ago now. Doomblade seems well positioned, but if people switch to Mono Black at the last minute, of course it's terrible in the mirror. 4 Reggies, I don't know about that. There are very few matchups where it's actually good. I think it's there for... yeah, actually, I know it's there. Martin Hughes' article says that it's there for the Is It Phoenix matchup, where it probably is pretty good. But I think 4 copies is way too many, and I think you could probably do better with something else. Like... there's gotta be some better creature. Anyway. We were at 357. We actually ranked up in the time I've been talking about the deck. This is where I'm going to call it. So thank you everyone for coming out. It looks like we're going to be around for the Top 1200 event.